Hey everybody, welcome to CTO Dose. I'm Mark May, and I have, of course, Keith Townsend. And we have a special guest I'm really excited to talk to today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. Chachi Kwan from Uila. I'm the CEO, co-founder for Uila. We're a 5-year-old, we still call it a startup company. Talking with you guys, second time. Love to do that every time.
Yeah, and we had a good conversation. What was that, 6 months ago, maybe a year?
A little bit more than 6 months ago, about
Yeah.
7, 8 months ago.
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today was, as you guys have evolved and customers have evolved from this on-prem infrastructure to hybrid cloud and its journey to the cloud, how are you guys adapting and helping your customers adapt, more importantly?
Right. So as you know, our company does data centers. Started out from 5 years ago monitoring the private data center with the application focus, right? It's all private, but for the infrastructure guy, we provide them application level visibility. So that's the thing that we do primarily started out. As you mentioned, nowadays people go hybrid or even public. With that journey, we go with our customer. So the first step with them is, the data that we collected, we help them understand the data center today. The first step of challenge about migration or even thinking about the public cloud or even private is, do I understand enough about my current data center? How is the application put together? If I even want to move one service, how is that service? Right? So that's number one that we do. Analytics that we own, and we do a lot of those application dependency mapping. That's usually the first step and usually the first challenge.
So Chachi, I'm interested in the reverse. We've heard about born in the cloud companies that move back on-prem. Do you guys have any born in the cloud companies that are going through that reverse scenario where they were born in the cloud, now they're figuring out, this workload is stable, secure, really doesn't need the elasticity of the cloud. It's best to move some of this stuff internally.
Yeah,
build a DC.
Or even if they weren't born in the cloud, they decided to go all in to public cloud early for whatever reason. It's going to save money. Maybe it didn't pan out, so now they're starting to pull it back. I like that. That's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on our side, we certainly heard a lot of those. But on our customer base, it's a little bit different from that, but in spirit it's similar. It is they go to the cloud from private and then come back.
Right.
Yeah,
so
for various
scenario,
reasons. Right. Yeah. And the reason for them to come back is either for cost reasons, right, which is easy to explain, and secondly is for not have planned it well from the first place, and the operation actually doesn't work out. For performance reason, they had to come back.
So have you guys helped, in that decision-making tree to say, oh, you know what? The problem is the uncertainty of cloud, or the problem is something that's native to cloud. Cloud is, obviously, I can build a resilient, performant app on cloud, but a lot of that boils down to if I have unlimited funds. I can go across multiple AWS regions, blah, 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 and build a resilient app. But there's key pieces of data that I need to make that decision. Do you guys help in that data gathering?
Absolutely. So as we find out to the cloud, cost-wise, people understand resourcing the cloud costs you money. The CPU, the compute power, the memory, the storage, everybody understand that. And there are lots of tools help you understand that. The most neglected two things that give you cost. Number one is the traffic between your clouds, your private or public to public, or private to public, where that VPN connection, you move some of your workload to the cloud where you don't know, you drag along something that's still in-house, or they exist, but you don't know how much traffic that is. That VPN tunnel, that costs you a lot of money. And then sometimes costs you not only the money, but the performance.
So I would imagine, I know you guys give away, I saw this coupon for a free application assessment.
Right.
I would imagine that is something that should help people avoid that.
Absolutely.
At least knowing, okay, I'm moving this to the public cloud, it's going to talk a lot to this that I don't want to move to the public cloud, or maybe I want to move it to a different cloud provider.
Right. We have many customers that has, tens of thousands of virtual machines in their data center. They made the decision to go hybrid or go public. The first step is Okay, how do we even start, right? What do I have in my data center? So then we run our analytic report, which is we call the migration assessment report. We identify all those interconnectivity between all these services, then separate it out into different services. Okay, I'm going to move this particular service. It's not 10,000 VM, it's 120 VM. Still big,
Right.
but then we help them analyze, break it down into pieces. Do they move this and not that, or do this or not that? And then here's that, here's this, how much it's going to cost there, how much traffic is going to be here. And then this used to be like multiple weeks, if not months of effort. In our case, once you deployed our solution in a few hours, and then one click, voila, this would come out.
So Keith, I know that application assessment kind of idea has definitely mirrored what I've seen from customers and peers.
Right.
Is that what you've seen in your experience when
Yeah,
people
that-
want to do that?
The application assessment, I think, is a huge part of it. One, most people just don't have a map of how their applications
They
communicate.
just don't know.
And when you, in a scenario I saw on Twitter, of all places, Twitter's a great place to get real information sometimes. Sometimes. Is a scenario where someone takes a service that they think will save them money.
Right.
You know, I have a friend that has a database and small application, and it's really hard to decide if RDS is the right move for him to make. But even beyond that, if I've taken the application, I've seen the dependencies based off of the reporting that I've gotten from Uila, and I say, oh, there's a bunch of traffic between this application server and this database server. I can break down this application server into microservices and give that to Lambda functions and allow those Lambda functions to do the processing. In theory, maybe I'll save some EC2 costs,
Right.
and this would be great. But in reality, what some customers find, based on the scenario, they end up, like your VPN example, they end up increasing costs in an area like the API gateway,
Right.
and the cost becomes exorbitant, and instead of saving costs, they've tripled their cost.
Right.
Do you guys help identify that type of dependency and break? Because I know originally you guys look at the application from the network stack. Can you guys inject yourselves into cloud native type services like
Certainly,
Lambda?
certainly. So there we measures is, despite the, or in addition to the dependency, who's talking to who, is a lot of quantitative information. So number one is traffic volume. Right? How much the traffic volume flow from A to B, if that's VPN, particularly these VPN, how much that is. And second thing that we also want people to pay attention to is how many transactions, right? Transactions is not directly a map of traffic volume. That's important too. That shows your application visibility or application kind of a volume in there, activities. Then number three is probably even more important is the application performance from point A to point B, or even to, for example, Amazon provided services, RDS, or these SaaS-based services. And then even though you don't own those services, you're getting it from Amazon or other services, Salesforce.com, we still want you to know your application is impacted because of those external services that you depend on. So all these measurements come into one, help you not only on cost front, but also application performance delivery front.
So we talked a little bit about cost and how that can impact you in the cloud. Do you actually show what the cost would be? Do you integrate with the Amazon public pricing and say, here's how much it would cost, or Azure public pricing?
Right. That's a tricky one. So
It
today,
is.
yeah.
There's businesses there's like whole solutions around just that.
Just that's
Exactly.
the thing.
So our business is not primarily that.
Yeah.
So we base on the Amazon published kind of undiscounted and unspecialized deal, right? We're based on that. And every enterprise have their special deals with Amazon, different pricing. We certainly don't know. So we kind of just based on the public information.
Can a user change the numbers so they can tweak it to their own liking?
Not yet today,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so we're at VMworld 2018. VMware has made some key announcements. One of which I think is, me and Mark both agree is great, game changing. Mark, we need to have a podcast just on this, which is RDS on vSphere. So
On-prem vSphere.
on-prem.
Not
So not
just
VMware
VMware
Cloud on
on
AWS, but RDS on vSphere on-prem. As you look at cloud services, where the control plane is in the cloud, AWS runs RDS still, but the compute is on local host. How, does that kind of get your imagination or juices flowing from a monitoring perspective? Either what monitoring challenges that's going to introduce, or what new opportunities that may introduce?
I think that certainly is the opportunity for us, and that certainly is a very important pipe to monitor on, and because that's just important from both cost and performance standpoint. And again, that's another agent wouldn't help kind of scenario because you don't own that
Right.
particular service, right? You use it. So a lot of things has to be done from the networking side, which our roots is based at, and monitor on that, and that is the critical piece for the entire operation, certainly.
So you had made 3 points, and I wanted to talk about the second one a little bit.
Sure.
About your visibility into the applications. Is that a native function that you guys do, or are you integrating with an application, an APM tool?
Right, so we complement with the APM tool with ourselves out of the box. We discover application and find the dependency, measure their performance primarily through deep packet inspection. Right, so it's agentless solution. We use our virtual traffic tap. It's all virtual and it is without implanting agent into the application server, but at the virtual switch level that we get all the packets, deep packet inspection, understanding what application actually runs on which server, and it depends on which other server, which other physical server, or even remote services, and then measure their performance, transaction volume, and that's how we kind of build this whole thing together.
So this has been a great conversation. Mark, I would love to find out more about Uila, and if I was to want to do that,
We love to be on your platform, and every time we work with you guys or talk to you guys, we learn a lot of new things. It's been a great pleasure.
No, thank you for having us. And where can they find you guys?
Yeah, so we're physically based in Santa Clara. Website-wise, we're at www.uila.com, U-I-L-A. It's Hawaiian words, mean lightning in the cloud. It lights up the cloud, so cloud gets visibility. UILA, Uila.com.
This has been a great conversation. Thanks everybody. This has been great. And you can find us at ctodose.com if you'd like more information.